Whenever you're ready, get it.
What's going on, guys? This is my treatment on options after school when school finishes. So my intentions, first of all, I'm going to be exploring the different options that people have after school finishes. Now that obviously the tuition fees have risen, people are going to be looking into the options even more. Yeah, once again, just investigating the routes that kids are going to take. I'm going to be proving that there's still ways where you can be successful that don't require a degree or don't require you to go uni, such as like apprenticeships, voluntary work, which could be good experience, stuff like that. I'm going to be challenging the idea that you're in a weaker position, you're a bit lost if you don't go uni, because that is not the case, as I have researched. So my angle on this will be looking through how to get through these options, how to get involved with these options, how to find an apprenticeship, find voluntary work, stuff like that. I will be doing this by splitting my documentary into segments of the different options. So basically a little segment on apprenticeships, a little segment on jobs, how to get jobs. So my content of idea. The topic, once again, I know I'm repeating this quite a lot, but it's what young people do in London after school finishes for them, and whether the schools provide the students with enough guidance, enough knowledge to know their options after school. So the angle is going to be the rise of tuition fees right at the start, just to show why these options are so relevant at the moment. Jobs, volunteer work, and apprenticeships. My unique selling point, I think my documentary will be so relevant at the moment because obviously the tuition fees have risen and some kids are not even going to uni now, so it'll give students a chance to look through their options without having to do much, without having to research it themselves. I'll be doing it for them, which is ideal for some people who just can't be bothered. And my issues will debate about the idea that university is a necessity, where I don't really think it is. So I'll give research to kind of support that. I'm biased. I have to make sure I'm not really too biased towards the government's decision of increasing the tuition fees, because they had their reasons to do it, and I can't just constantly say it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, because then I will be biased. So structure. So my first segment is it's going to be like headlines coming up, newspaper headlines, and then you hear like a voiceover saying of a news reporter saying tuition fees have risen. All of this is going to be quite intense, and then it's going to follow on with students who are going to say whether they're going uni or not. And what I'm going to try and do is, this might be a bit biased, but I'm going to try and make it as if quite a few people are not going uni, so a lot of them say no, and then maybe one of them says yes, because just to highlight the fact that it is quite a relevant documentary. Then I'm going to have an interview with a senior teacher. I was thinking Mr. Ball because he looks quite senior and he is a senior. But yeah, with Mr. Ball, and then just ask him about what he thinks, because he's been in the school for quite a while. I'm just going to ask him, has he seen a difference now that the tuition fees have gone up? Has he seen a difference in students? Have you just look into it? Yeah, the next segment will be, these are just the main segments, so next one will be like graphics on a couple of statistics about people going to uni, people doing apprenticeships, and then interview with an apprentice project worker just to see if there's an increase in people who are doing apprenticeships, just to see how you can get involved in apprenticeships. And then I'm going to introduce Westfield and talk about jobs, talk about young people looking for jobs as well. And then I'm going to have an interview with a store manager in regards to why it's difficult for young people to get jobs, basically their lack of experience. And I think that's going to tie in quite well with my next bit, which is the bit after this, which is about volunteer work, about how it provides them with experience to then get a job. I'm going to have this segment here, which is a bit random, but it's going to be a young person basically waiting for a job reply, and I'll be waiting with him, and he's going to be waiting, and his phone's going to ring. This isn't going to be real. It's just going to be like a portrayal of how you should be expecting a job reply. So he's going to get a job reply, and he's going to get refused. And what I think that's going to do is just going to add a bit of humour to it, kind of, just to show in comedy the difficulty that we face when we go and try and get a job. My last one is just an outro of me walking down the street and then explaining how, even though university is out of the equation, we still got loads of options. Also, I might look into taking a gap year, or even like A-level schemes offered by companies such as Argos, because that's what they do, and then maybe talk about them as options as well. But that's just additionally. I've got a few contacts lined up for that. I may do that, but that's my template at the moment. I might do that. My target audience. So age, 16 to 24, it's going to match the brief. Gender, both genders go to uni, both genders looking for jobs, everything, so it's going to be both genders. Location, England, and mostly England, because in Scotland tuition fees haven't affected them as much, so we should be alright, and it's more based in England about looking through the different options. In terms of interest, it's just what young people do most: education, making money, television. Ambitions, they're going to be obviously looking for a future, looking for a career, and employment, education. Most of them will still be in education. The older audience will be more likely to be in a job or a part-time job, something like that. Disposable income. So once again, most of them will still be living at home, so the only income they get is from their parents, which is going to be quite low. But if they have a part-time job, if they have a full-time job, if they're quite older, more towards the 24 mark, then their disposable income is going to be higher, so it's quite varied. Ethnicity, all ethnicities, and religion, because all of them would be going to uni. Opinions, tuition fees are wrong. That's what they're going to be feeling. They're going to be feeling the government made the wrong move. Media consumption. So what they're going to be watching is stuff like Apprentice, Waterloo Road, things that appeal to them at the minute, and maybe Friends, stuff that appeals to young people. And socio-economic group will be mostly C2 to E, and maybe the older, the 24-year-olds, maybe they've entered the C1 to A's, because obviously they might have found a job by now. My documentary will be mainstream, because it doesn't just appeal to students, it appeals to parents, it appeals to the government, because it is a political issue, so it's going to be a mainstream issue, so it's for the whole audience to receive. So firstly, we didn't do that firstly, but we did internet research, and then what I found from there was archive footage that I was going to use from like YouTube, statistics about apprenticeship, how many people have been doing it, and music that I'm going to include. Textual analysis was where we compared our documentary to two similar texts, and I found things to look into, such as the pace of my documentary, the different shots I could use, the locations, because one of them had like, the location was the same throughout and it was really boring, so then I thought, change the locations. We did a questionnaire as well, and gave me a better insight into the audience, into the relevance of my topic, and into the market for the documentary. And lastly, we did focus groups. Once again, gave me a valuable insight into the target market, into their views on everything, and also qualitative research was obtained, because I found out their opinions, found out if they were interested in the other options, and if the documentary would appeal to them. So what equipment? I'm going to be needing a camera, tripod, boom mic, shotgun mic, voice recorder, and USB memory stick. Obviously the first two just to film, and these three, I think I'm going to experiment with the sound, and whichever one's the best, I'm going to go for that one. And USB memory stick also, just to transfer pictures and songs and stuff that I want in my documentary. I'm going to have iMac Final Cut Pro, Live Type, and Fireworks, which I haven't included, just to make the graphics, just to help with the editing. Crew members, I'm going to have a cameraman, sound operator, and a presenter. And my brother's going to be the cameraman, my friend's going to be the sound operator, and I'm going to be the presenter. I think that will be